Hey guys, welcome back on my channel. I thought I would do an update video because I have disappeared for a few weeks and lots of you guys were wondering where I was and whether things were okay with me. So I was very busy, and typically the period towards the new year up until March is always a very intense period for me, not in terms of work but in terms of just assessing my life in general. So I can remember that this time last year I was doing my project in Poland and already thinking whether or not I wanted to stay in consulting, whether I wanted to stay in Belgium. And I remember that the final decision of actually leaving was made end of December. I think the 23rd. I think the 23rd of December. And then my last day at work was March 23rd, which is my birthday, and I was in Italy. I got back from Italy on the 26th. Then on the 27th I went to London. That's when I decided that I actually wanted to officially move to London, and I started interviewing. I did my interviews a couple of days later, got my offer the same day, and then went back. And it took, all in all, from that December day until the day when I actually started work and had moved to London, 6 months. So I had moved in the first day of June, actually June 1st. And this is a pattern in me because also when I left my job in Morocco, my last day was actually December 31st. And then it took me a couple months to get through the entire visa process and all of that. So I was in Belgium effectively in March. So same story, right? And so as we get closer to this period where I typically like to have my year in review, my life in review, I was having a lot of thoughts going through because again, I have to make a decision. It's been almost 6 months now that I'm in the UK, 5 months and a bit, and I have to make a decision whether or not I am happy with my choice, whether I want to stay in that job, etc., etc. So there were a lot of thoughts going in my mind. The most important one was about the kind of jobs that I find myself in. So the period in October was very, very difficult. I had posted a video about barely surviving because the thing is, I found myself with an extensive travel schedule. I was traveling every single day to a new city, and I was working all day, doing a lot of heavy work, and then spending the evening working on my computer. So it was just very intense, and the idea was for this to be temporary, right? It wasn't. And so it has also been the same in November, and I just felt that I needed to sit down and get some time for myself because I had reached the point again where I spend my entire week working 18 hours, and then when it's a weekend I have no energy to do anything. So I essentially just spend my weekend recovering from the week, packing my things, trying to catch up on, all the errands that I was meant to do. And obviously one of these days is usually with my sister, spent with my sister. So I felt that I was back to that level of being so tired and so out of it as I was in Brussels, with minor differences. One is that I get to spend one day with my sister every weekend, and two, that it feels a bit even worse to be in a nice city actually than not, because at least when I was in Brussels and I was missing out on life, it was because there was nothing to do there. Now I see everything happening around me and I'm just too tired to just bother. So I thought I need to sit down and think about it, and I think it's one of the things that I preach a lot in my channel. So you will see that I do a lot of these pivots, or a lot of the things that I do are based on introspection. You will notice that I have cut my hair. Every time I cut my hair, actually, it's not purely aesthetic. It's very symbolic because it is a signaling of me letting go of the old. And I don't take it lightly. I mean, a lot of people say, oh, you keep cutting your hair and stuff, including my sister. She's just annoyed at me. For me, it's a lot of symbolic behind it. So I always like a fresh start. And it's just hair. It grows very slowly, but it does. But I have been keeping a journal. So over the past few weeks, I think keeping a journal is a really important thing because you actually get to see how things evolve. And I think it's just quite interesting. So I'm just flipping through my journal and all the thoughts that I have written. So I do have my usual journal where I can write every week, every month, every 3 months or something. It doesn't matter, and it's just more of a diary for myself. But then I also have a journal for whenever I'm going through these phases of introspection of all the things that I have noticed, all the things that bug me, things that I want to vocalize or research and things like that. And one of the recent thoughts that I was having was about why do I end up always in projects that are so intense? I can definitely see there is a pattern because when I look at my work right now and my work setup, I see that people are really having a good life. There is a reason why I decided to go back into consulting. It's because my current team is quite amazing actually. So people show up at the office at 9, 9:30, sometimes 10, sometimes later. Nobody actually feels the need to explain why they're coming at the specific time. Everybody assumes you're a responsible adult and that you will behave as such. So there is no micromanagement. People also leave whenever they're done. They don't just stay and hang around because they need to show face. They're very comfortable going to the gym. A lot of people are quite fit, which encouraged me at the beginning to sign up for a gym, which I'm still paying for, but I don't go because I'm traveling all the time. But you know, a lot of these things, I have noticed how the interactions between people and how people talk to each other within the team, there is a lot of respect, a lot of banter. I really like the vibe. So that's a very exciting world to be part of. Except that I've noticed I've not been part of it because I have been staffed on a slightly different project, which is remote, and we are overworked, and it's not managed by the London office, so it's not the same, let's just say. So the resources are not the same, etc. Now, I'm not going to get into much detail as to what is happening in that specific team or on that specific project, because that is still very sensitive. But the bottom line is that I see that I'm again with an acting project manager who is very stressed out and puts that on the team, and I think that most of the time it's unproductive. That's all I'm going to say. Now back to why I needed to say that relevant bit of information, although it's pretty vague, but it's because as I was trying to vocalize how I felt about this, I realized that it's not the first time that I'm in this situation. It happened to me in Brussels before, and so I felt really bad about it. I felt like if there is such a pattern, that means I must be attracting this kind of project. But then I decided to use this as a case study. So I was like, I have been in that situation before, more than once, and every time that this happened, this is how I reacted. And so I started using this project almost as a social experiment. So every time that I had a situation and I react to it, I just look exactly at what was the situation the first 2 times that I had that, and how did I react, and just how is my reaction different. And that kind of gave me a sort of almost an experimental, a lab environment where I have my behavior the first time, my behavior the second time, and my behavior now. And it was quite interesting to see how my personality has evolved, how I am more assertive on certain things, what are the things that I will speak up about. And then after all of this assessment was over, I had a small, nice package of, this is the Uga of 2 years ago, this is the Uga of last year, and this is the Uga now. And I'm pretty happy about where I have, what I have morphed into. I'm really loving the person I have become in terms of standing up for my team and standing up for myself. But then the next step for me is, you don't always have to be the defender, you don't always have to be the one speaking up. Sometimes it is enough to say, yeah, I will not take this anymore. And so that's what I have decided to do. So on Monday, I'm having a discussion with the management of my office, and I'm going to just put this out there, because the thing is, I'm still very good at what I do. So the problem is, if I don't speak up, I would probably end up doing this for at least a year. I'm the best person to do this because I have done this job before, and I have done this exact project before 5 times. So I have the best credentials, and I understand that it means that it's key to put my profile forward, but then it has to be with my own rules. So I have taken a few weeks off of YouTube to think about my life, to think about how I wanted to have that discussion. I've had a few preliminary discussions about that, and so I'm going to go on Monday and do that. It's the end of the year, so I have 2 more weeks in this project, but I want these 2 weeks to be on my terms. If they are not, it's fine, but I don't want to go through the next year and be stuck for 10 more months doing this. So yes, it's a lot of personal information that I'm sharing, and I'm aware of it, and by the time I publish this video, I would have already had the Monday discussion, and we will see whether they will say get the hell out of here, or whether they say actually we value your contributions, we value you as a team member, and actually we will make the things happen. So if I post this video, that means that I had made the right choice, and that the team actually knows my value, and that they decided to give me what I wanted, which is either continue on this project but lead it and do it on my own terms, or be put on something else where I actually at least get to experience the very nice environment of the London office. So fingers crossed. I'm working on that. I know it's a pretty vague thing, and that I haven't given much details because it is my work, it is my career. I think it's very important, more important than YouTube. But the reason why I put this video out there is that I think it's quite important for people to always assess where they are. You don't have to always be worried about the next step. But as you can see, I tend to do this once a year, or as needed, right? And also recognize the patterns, be it in your career, be it in your love life, be it in your studies, in your family relationships. Sometimes if you have a sort of flashback to a situation, just step back and think of it as a learning opportunity. Think of it as, okay, so I can see definitely that there is a pattern here. Which part of it is actually external, and in my case a lot of it is, but also which part is just me. And also, the first time that things happened, what could I have done differently? When they happened the second time, what did I change? What do I want to do now? And so even though what I'm reporting on right now is a bit, it could be seen as negative, it could be seen as a bit of an energy suck, for me I just see as I went through a very rough patch. I was questioning again my life choices, and I decided that I still made the right choice by being in London. I still made the right choice by being a consultant because I'm damn good at it. But I will have to make sure that I am more assertive. People appreciate that. I have already established my value in the company, so it is time for me to speak up. So if you're seeing this video, that means the discussion went well, and the next videos will be a bit more cheerful and will be a bit more the content that I typically have on YouTube. So I'm probably going to film a lot of things related to my new style, because I have massively upgraded my style. And I will do something simple like a beauty video or like empties or something like that, just to get back in the game. But this first video is quite important for me, so wish me luck.